took on a couple of students just because I wanted to establish a relationship with certain ones that didn't necessarily have a connection, that maybe they were having certain issues at home, or maybe they were having certain issues here at school with their behavior, and I felt like maybe having a connection with them might help them be encouraged and motivated to be a little bit better, if not at home but here at school, and to let them know that they had somebody here that cared about them and that was a constant friend to them no matter what.
Each day I see over 100 kids, and what really just kind of got to me was the first time I walked by a kid 3 years ago, my first year teaching, and he had his head down, and I could just see that something was bothering him. And part of me wanted to stop and ask him what was going on, but I didn't. And at that moment I realized, you know, there's kids that are dealing with things that I can't even imagine. And I kind of, as a teacher, you realize, you know, part of your job is not only teaching them as, you know, academics, but also teaching them as people. And I realized then that I needed to make sure one of my top priorities was to get involved in these kids' lives and try to help them go through the same things that I went through possibly, or things, you know, that I can relate to.
Currently right now I'm a mentor in the morning, so she comes to see me for breakfast. So anytime that I can find available, I try to fit in, even if it's just 5 minutes, 15 minutes, even if it's just to walk down there and say, hey, how you doing, good morning, you know, have a great day.
Most of the time it's during our lunchtime, because that's kind of coincides with my planning. But I have met with my mentees at breakfast time, after school a few times. And I try to go by their classroom and just check in when I have planning, just, you know, see how they're doing in the classroom, seeing if they're having a good day. Just let them know that somebody cares about them and that somebody's looking out for them, because a lot of times nobody, you know, at home they don't get that. They don't know that people are looking after them or care about them.
We talk about various things, how's school going, how's home going. Usually after I've made a connection and I found out some things about their family, you know, I'll ask about family members, you know, how things are going, brothers, sisters. And then I kind of let them take over the conversation. You know, a lot of times it'll turn into, you know, they want to vent about some things to me and, you know, let me listen, and sometimes I'll try to give a little bit of advice or encouragement.
It kind of depends on their day as to what we talk about, but I try to let the kids just kind of talk about what they want to talk about, because most of the time that's what they're wanting. They're just wanting somebody that is invested in them, that wants to sit down and listen to them and cares about their life and what's going on. We'll talk about family. We may talk about how the academics are going, if they're having any problems in any of their classes. The closer you get to the kid, that trust really builds up, and they'll start telling you things that you wouldn't even imagine. And I know the first time I sat down and talked with my first mentee, I left that little meeting and went back to my room and broke down, because I just couldn't imagine all the stuff that they had went through in their life. In just a matter of 30 minutes, they laid that out, and it was shocking to me, and it just made me really think, you know, this is something important. This is something that there's more than one kid in each of our schools that really could benefit from it.
I don't consider it extra work, because it's making a relationship, and making relationships shouldn't have to be work. But if you're making a relationship with a student, with a child, with anybody, relationships make a world of difference. You're going to grow respect for each other, a connection that might not ever be made with anybody else for that particular student. An opportunity of a lifetime can be in the lifetime of an opportunity. So I don't take those opportunities lightly, because the opportunity that I have to make a connection with that one student could be something that they remember and hold dear to them, you know, through their whole lifetime. It could give someone an encouraging word, or, you know, a moment of time that would help them to succeed in life.
The great thing about mentoring is I really don't consider it work. I don't consider it anything extra. I actually look forward to sitting down and talking to them and just seeing how their week's going, and seeing, you know, if they did better on their math test, or how things are going at home, what they were able to do over the weekend.
I've seen results in behavior. Their behavior has improved in my classroom, as well as in their classrooms outside of this one. Their anger, sometimes The ones that I've mentored have had some anger issues in the past, and I've seen some of that dissipate over time. I can see that there is some more caring and kindness that has developed.
As far as results, I had 2 mentees last year, and both of them, they didn't have a true father figure in their lives. So it was kind of difficult to gauge at first, how the change was going, because they just had trust issues, especially with men, because they had had so many issues throughout their life with the father figures or the men in their lives kind of, going back on their promises or not being there for them. I don't really think that I'll see the true results of, the time that we spent together, but I kind of like to think that I maybe planted a seed and helped kind of water it along, so maybe that one day they will, they'll reach that potential that they have.